perspective of the sun. Contemplating the rising of the sun, I'm always awed by the ever-regular and never-ending movement of the sun every day without fail. The following comes to mind. The sun marches inexorably across the sky. Then I suddenly felt that this statement sounds somehow wrong, that it doesn't ring true anymore. For the sun does not move across the sky. We are moving towards the sun as it rises and away from the sun as it sets. The sun rises and sets as surely as the world rotates with us, stuck on the surface of it through gravity. I thought about the false perspective of reality due to the smallness of the human mind and came to another realization. The sun smiled and said, "I have been here for billions of years. I have watched through the strength of my presence my children come into existence. Each of them struggled and fought with each other, finally coalescing into their individual forms and forging their own paths. Their own children settled around them, and soon an uneasy equilibrium was reached. I have watched through the giving of my own source of life. One of my children evolved differently from the rest, basking in the glory of my brilliance through the protection of her own atmosphere. Myriad forms of life flourished." I have watched over millennia as countless forms of life came into existence and was extinguished just as quickly. It didn't matter, as the cycle of life is perfect and nature is intricately balanced. I have watched as suddenly one of the life forms evolved differently from the rest. It became aware of itself with the evolution of consciousness and intelligence. No longer is it just fighting for survival like the rest. I have watched as this life form, growing beyond the need for survival, it began to forget that it's just a different manifestation of life in the greater ecosystem of nature. Despite its lifespan so short that it seemed like a flash of light in my eye, collectively it began to devolve into unconsciousness, developing greed and craving for more than it should. Through its greed, it began to abuse my child and her resources for its own gratification. It consumes and it destroys, but fails to replace what it has taken away. This life form has set itself on the path to self-destruction. All this I watch and I smile, for I know that nature is perfect and balance will ultimately be restored. Nature is inevitable and it will seek to correct itself to reach equilibrium. Faced with extinction, this life form will evolve into a new consciousness that is in harmony with nature. Alternatively, this life form may be completely extinguished. It didn't matter before, and it doesn't matter now. As the cycle of life is perfect and nature is intricately balanced, for other forms of life shall flourish in its absence, and perhaps consciousness will arise once again. Ashes to ashes, dust to dust. Let it be.